a compassionate approach to prisoners. Most countries in the world, bar the Scandinavian countries, believe in punishment and retribution as opposed to rehabilitation of their prisoners. What if I told you that a crime committed today actually began more than 20 years ago? Most people think prison is just about bad choices. But science tells a different story. It tells us that for many, the path to a cell wasn't built on evil. It was built on a foundation of empty plates, quiet, non-interactive homes, and mostly survival. Psychology teaches that the more we are exposed to certain types of behavior, the more we believe it is normal. Let's look at the brain fuel crisis. It starts with what's on the plate. Or rather, what's not. Did you know that malnutrition in the first 3 years of life leads to a 51% increase in violent behavior by age 17? Science has proven that without zinc, iron, and vitamin B, the brain's executive function, the part that says wait, don't do that, simply doesn't develop. When we see an adult struggle with impulse control, we might be looking at a brain that never had the fuel it needed to build a conscience. The survival mindset will eventually learn bad behavior in order to survive, such as robbing and stealing. Then there's the safe home gap. We call these ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Research indicates that people who end up in prison are 4 times more likely to have experienced severe childhood trauma. If you grow up in a world that offers no protection, your brain stays in a permanent state of fight or flight. What we label as aggression or paranoia in an adult is often just a childhood survival mechanism that never had the chance to turn off. The lack of care, neglect is a silent architect. When a child's bids for attention are ignored, they lose the ability to regulate their emotions. They don't learn how to bond with society. They learn to distrust it. If the first people meant to love you were absent, you don't look for success in school or jobs. You look for it in the street, where the rules finally make sense to a survival-wired brain. Rehabilitation versus punishment. This is why the compassionate approach isn't just a soft moral stance. It's a biological necessity. The brain is plastic. It can heal, but you can't punish a brain into healing. If we send someone to prison and treat them with the same neglect they felt as a child, we aren't fixing them. We're reinforcing their trauma. Real rehabilitation means providing the 3 things they were deprived of: nutrition, education, and care. When we provide mental health care and support instead of just a cage, recidivism rates plummet. Because at the end of the day, a safer community isn't built on bigger locks. It's built on making sure no child starts their life in a survival state. Halden Prison in Norway. There are no bars on the windows. There is no barbed wire. And the guards? They don't carry weapons. They share meals and play sports with the inmates. The principle of normality. The Scandinavian model is built on one radical idea: that punishment is the loss of liberty and nothing more. Inside the walls, life is designed to be as normal as possible. The nutrition factor. In Danish and Norwegian prisons, inmates aren't lined up for slop. They are given a budget, they shop at an in-prison grocery store, and they cook their own meals in communal kitchens. This teaches the self-sufficiency and healthy habits that many were deprived of in childhood. The architecture of healing. Instead of concrete blocks that trigger a fight-or-flight response, these prisons use natural light, wood, and art. Why? Because the architecture is designed to lower cortisol and improve impulse control. If you treat a person like a caged animal, he will act like one. If you treat him like a neighbor, he learns how to be one. In the US and UK, About 50 to 70% of people are rearrested within a few years. In Norway, that number drops to 20%. Based on the most recent data, 2024 to 2025, here are further statistics. In Australia, the re-imprisonment rate stands at 43% return to prison within 2 years. In South Africa, the recidivism rate is estimated from 55% to 95%. In New Zealand, the re-imprisonment rate is 30% for first-timers, 60% for those with prior history. In Brazil, the recidivism rate for recent state studies range from 24% to 51%. Examining the systemic failures of prison programs, it seems clear that many incarcerated individuals are stuck in a relentless loop of rearrest and reincarceration. The lack of effective rehabilitation strategies and the barriers to reentry appear to be a major obstacle to breaking this cycle. Personally, I would advocate for better nutrition, exercise, re-education, and ongoing psychotherapy. On exiting the system, the prisoner should be able to look forward to a better understanding of himself, set goals while being a better example to his offspring. The entire focus of the prison program should be reintegration, not punishment. On the technological front, we are advancing in leaps and bounds, while on the sociological front, we are still entrenching an archaic system of punishment and reward. The way out, real rehabilitation, means providing the three things they were deprived of: nutrition, education, and care. When we provide mental health care and support instead of just a cage, recidivism rates plummet. Because at the end of the day, a safer community isn't built on bigger locks. It's built on making sure no child starts their life in a survival state. What do you think? Is our justice system ignoring the science? Let's talk about it in the comments. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe for more information.